Hello and welcome back to Excel Automation with the modern experience in Studio. In this demo, we'll enhance our project by incorporating Excel file formatting, UI automation activities, and graphical representation of data using chart and pivot table activities on the consolidated spreadsheet. We'll also manipulate the data within the file and enable sheet protection. We'll start from the project developed in our previous video. In case you haven't built along, please download the project attachment before proceeding with this video. Since we have several activities to include, we'll create a sequence and name it Excel Formatting. We can perform various actions on the Excel file using UI automation activities, such as double-clicking to open a file, selecting a range of cells, and sorting data in ascending or descending order. These actions can help to efficiently organize data and make it easier to analyze. To use these activities, it's important to make sure that the UI automation packages are installed in our project. For more information, refer to the course on UI automation with modern design. As a first step, let's add the click activity to the Format as Table option. We'll name this activity Click Format as Table. Click activity simulates a mouse click on a specified element in an application, triggering an action or navigation. In Excel Automation, it could be used to select options or activate buttons. Its purpose is to automate manual tasks and streamline processes. For the click button to perform the action, we need to have the Excel file open. Next, we'll specify the element from the Excel file that we'd like to click on, which is Format as Table. Finally, we'll confirm our selection. We'll add a keyboard shortcut activity. This activity lets us record the specific key combination for selecting the format for a table. We'll record the keys down, right, down, and enter. Next, we'll add a type into activity to specify the range where the data table will be inserted in the sheet. We'll name this activity Type Table Range. The type into activity types text into a specific UI element, useful for inputting data into a system or application. Since we can't see the desired UI element, we'll pause the selection process and access the Table Format option. Next, we'll select the field where we want to type in and then confirm our selection. Since we want to add the data between columns A and E, we'll enter $A:$E in the Type Table Range activity. And we don't require the empty field before typing or click before typing options, so we'll select None. So far, everything is going well. However, we can see that the table has headers. We'll use the Check or Uncheck activity to check the My Table Has Headers box. Select the Format Table option with a pause. Then indicate and check the My Table Has Headers box. Great! We'll confirm the Create Table dialog box by clicking OK, using another click activity. And that's it. The table is now formatted. Next, we'll move on to creating a pivot table by adding the Create Pivot Table activity. Create Pivot Table activity automates the process of creating a pivot table from a data source. The activity typically involves selecting the data source range, choosing where to place the pivot table, and selecting the fields to use in the pivot table. Let's configure this activity. Our source file is month_report.sheet_sales. Pivot table as the new table name, and add month_report.sheet_pivot table as the destination. Next, let's add pivot table fields. We'll use agent name as a row, total sales as a value, with the sum function, and profit per sale as a value with the sum function. Let's rename the three activities for clarity. That should make it easier to understand. Let's add an Insert Chart activity and configure it. The chart activity allows adding a graphical representation of data in a specific chart type, e.g. column, stacked column, using a data range. We'll set the chart category to column. In the data range field, we'll add month report.sheet pivot table and insert it into the same sheet, as we want to save the data in the same sheet. We don't need to save this chart, so we can leave the Save Chart field blank. We're done processing the data from the Excel files. Let's add a Delete Sheet activity to remove the default generated Sheet 1 and the Acquisitions sheet. To delete this sheet, we'll type in the Select Sheet field, month report.sheet sheet 1. And to delete the second sheet, we'll duplicate the activity and insert the acquisitions value. The Protect Sheet activity is used to secure an Excel sheet from unwanted changes or modifications. With this activity, you can specify a password to protect the sheet from being edited. And you can also set specific permissions for what actions can be performed on the sheet, such as editing certain cells, formatting cells, and more. Let's say that we want to protect the sales sheet. In this case, we'll rename the activity to Protect Sheet Sales. Type in month report sheet sales in the sheet field and select a password. Let's duplicate this activity and protect the pivot table sheet as well. Before running the project, let's close the month report Excel file and remove it from the project's output folder. Great! Now let's give it a run to see what happens. We can see that the project is processing the data, updating the table design, the pivot. Look, and the chart is also processed. And we're done. Let's check the project output folder and open the resulting Excel file month report. We'll look at the pivot table sheet and sales sheet. Everything seems to be in order. The project ran successfully. Before wrapping up, let's review what we've covered today. We learned how to automate Excel tasks using UI automation and familiarized ourselves with the check-uncheck, create pivot table, insert chart, delete sheet, and protect sheet activities to modify an Excel file. For further practice, consider a scenario where you need to combine data from two Excel files, arrange and format the data, and then send the resulting Excel file with specific write-protected sheets. Can you optimize this process? Give it a try. And that's all for this demo. Thank you for watching and happy automation!